Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. Let me get this set up here. Here we go. Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.4 trillion market cap for crypto, and we're off 5.5% collectively across the market. But Bitcoin holding 107,000, Ethereum's holding 2,500. You know, that's been troubling for Ethereum. They're holding it today. XRP is 222. We're off 2.2 on the 24 and up 7.1 on the 7-day. Looking at the range of price very quickly here, range between 221 and 228. That's what it is right now. We'll keep an eye on it, but we're above that 222 that Dark Defender and others have told us is a very, very bullish support mark. So let's hope we stay above 222 and beyond, right? I do want to tell you about Caleb and Brown. All you have to do, DAI and myself have come together with Caleb and Brown and other platforms. And the reason we've done this is because we've never held our assets in one place only. I hold my assets across different platforms, and we've worked it out that you can do the same. You go to xrpwealth589.com, xrpwealth589.com, and start getting the best night's sleep you've ever had since you've been in crypto. And I tell you, the response has been overwhelming, ladies and gentlemen. Overwhelming. Look, free institutional grade custody. You should never have to pay for institutional grade custody. You get it for free here. No hidden fees, no hidden spreads, one flat rate. And I tell you what, multiple layers of security, and you get human customer service at a level that I've never experienced before in my life. I tell you, this is remarkable. If you're moving in and out of assets, you need that agility in the market, you have it here. And I tell you something, you could call and talk to a human being, prime broker, or just a technical support person. This is what it means to have the kind of white glove service I'm looking for in this space that has been missing for so long. You can have it too. Start getting the best night's sleep you've ever had in crypto and go to xrpwealth589.com and sign up for your free account today. Link is underneath every video. Let's get started here. Oh, it's on now, America. Yeah, what is on? It is the bill that just passed, the big, beautiful tax bill, ladies and gentlemen. $5 trillion in tax cuts, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, remain in place. And we still don't have crypto tax clarity. It is not in this bill. So as happy as I am that that passed, and it is big for the country for sure, and it did pass. But what I know now is that the tax for crypto is not in this bill. So that remains to be seen where that will get clarity from, whether it goes in the Clarity Act or is snuck in the Genius Act somewhere or some other bill. But we still don't have that full clarity for crypto from that bill. But it is great that it passed at my house. So now on the other side of the world, we see Ripple has announced a big development for the XRP Ledger community in Asia Pacific region and partnering with Tenity Global. Ripple is set to launch an XRP Ledger accelerator program aimed at supporting blockchain startups and developers across that region. So another beautiful thing happening to proliferate a growth on the ecosystem. I love it. And meanwhile, XRP ETF approval odds now nearing 100%. Could this be the catalyst for a $5 price explosion? Possibly. Possibly. I say, you know what I say? I don't know the answer, but I say this. Why don't we go ahead and get those approvals so we can find out? How about that one? Yeah. Happy 4th of July to everybody today. And according to CoinMarketCap, listen to this. This number is pretty massive here. XRP trading volume has reached $5.03 billion, marking an 86% surge in just 24 hours. That is an enormous number right there, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I mean, look, I bring it up because we're still in a speculative market, but I think there are a lot of players, institutional and enterprise players, that are positioning themselves and getting their horses in the gate, as they say, and preparing for when all of this legislation becomes law. Look, it's on the other side of legislation that I'm excited to see where all of this is really going to go. And we're getting closer and closer. Speaking of which, here is Executive Director Bo Hines to President Trump. Take a listen.
The capital injection that goes into the digital assets ecosystem as a result of stables is enormous. I think that you're looking at probably an industry going to $15, $20 trillion, because what this does is it establishes really the foundation for all the exciting things that we've dreamed of. Tokenized public securities, 24/7 markets. If you want to access U.S. capital markets, you're going to have to use a dollar-backed stable.
And here's what's interesting. Everything he just mentioned has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Keep listening.
And this is what positions the United States to be the global leader. And in reality, we should be pushing this change. We should be at the forefront of adoption of digital asset financial technology and really leading the charge globally in that. It'll protect the U.S. economy. It'll certainly create innovation here in the United States, and that's something that we should all be excited about.
No doubt about it. And we are excited. And go ahead and make that Bitcoin strategic reserve too. Yeah, I'll make sure I got it in my IRA before you do it. Speaker Mike Johnson. Speaker Mike Johnson has designated the week of July 14th, listen to this, as Crypto Week, during which lawmakers will debate 3 key bills covering stablecoins, digital asset market structure, and central bank digital currencies. Ladies and gentlemen, history is in progress of being made. We are on the precipice of the most historic moment for this space that we've ever witnessed. It can't be overstated. This is incredible. And to add to it, Eleanor Terrett says, we've got 2 big weeks ahead of crypto in Congress. Next Wednesday, the Senate Banking Committee tackles market structure hearing, which, by the way, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, will be a witness testifying in front of that committee. Shout out to Brad. It says the Senate Banking Committee tackles a market structure hearing with a discussion draft likely next week as well. Then House's Crypto Week kicks off next week. Wild to think that this time last year, we were still waiting on the SEC to move on a spot ETF for Ethereum. Right? I mean, it's unbelievable what we're talking about here. The House has dubbed the week of July 14th Crypto Week. The Genius Act, Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act will be voted on for passage in the lower chamber. I'm telling you, I don't know the last time I have witnessed Congress make this kind of progress in such a short amount of time. I might even say that I'm proud of them, but not yet. No. Let's get the fish in the boat. We don't do attaboys and anointing oils until you actually start levitating. So we got to get it all done. Then we'll do all the attaboys and everything else. So that's where we are. Look, this is very big. I mean, we're having fun with it. I'm actually kind of giddy about it because it is taking place so quickly. And I remember Senator Tim Scott had a lot to do with this by saying that they were going to put everything together in a bicameral committee, basically bringing the Senate and all the committees from the Senate and the House together, the Ag and the Financial Services Committees and all those committees together, so things could move through Congress much quicker instead of going from one committee to the other committee to the other committee to the other committee, and these things can go side by side and move much quicker. But this should tell you the kind of intensity and the urgency that's been placed on it to get it done. Because all of this, make no mistake about it, certainly at my house, and you're welcome to have your own opinions, but all of this is being done because the US dollar is in trouble. And here is the answer. And the answer is not only a digital dollars and private issuance of stable coins, so we have new use cases to hold treasury bonds, but also the other side of this is to launch these assets because we're going to tokenize the traditional economy as we know it. And I'm always looking for the projects that are helping to aid that transition into the new digital on-chain economy. And when I find it, I like to get invested in it. So head on a swivel. Meanwhile, speaking of investments and partnerships and everything else to go with it, recent announcement from Ripple that they came together with Wormhole for creating more interoperability. and a database with interoperability layer boom overnight. Take a listen to this. Jack McDonald, Senior VP, sitting on stage for our RLUSD, sitting on stage with the Wormhole co-founder. Take a listen.
Can you tell us more about what brought Ripple and Wormhole together, and what this collaboration is aiming to unlock?
Yeah, I gotta measure how close I am here. I think what's exciting about what we just kind of announced today is that everyone's very familiar with Ripple and the success around Ripple and obviously the XRPL ecosystem. But now it's kind of getting to this critical point, and we were talking earlier about kind of this XRPL or Ripple ecosystem renaissance, right? You have this blockchain ecosystem, so the EVM sidechain now, you have XRPL, and it's largely been separated from the rest of crypto, right? We're probably all familiar with active chains like Solana, Ethereum, Sui, et cetera, and there hasn't been any connectivity to date. And I think what's exciting about now is, Ripple has been around for so long. Now is really that time where Ripple's going to be connected to these other blockchains. So you're going to start to see activity flowing between EVM sidechain, XRPL, and all these other blockchains that we, probably know and use today. And so I think that in and of itself, for XRPL and for Ripple, the ecosystem is exciting, and for us as well. And when we were kind of working on this, one thing that's really, really important is the Ripple ecosystem, XRPL, is obviously well known. And so it's important to make sure that the connectivity to these blockchains is super secure. And so with Wormhole, we focus a lot on security in particular, work with a lot of institutions, and are going to bring that kind of same focus to what we're doing today.
And I would also just add that both, within the XRPL ecosystem, there's a desire to be multi-chain. We follow utility. We look at what our customers are looking to do and where they want to go. And so there's I think a native desire to expand the optionality for our customers, or I should say for the XRPL ecosystem users, builders, et cetera. Within Ripple, where I sit, we also see the benefits of a multi-chain world, and even specifically within RLUSD, the stablecoin. While we've launched on both the XRP ledger and Ethereum natively to start, we're 6 months old. We do view the opportunity set expanding in the years ahead and looking for partners to do that with. We're not going to do everything on our own. And when you think about interoperability platforms like Wormhole, we think that there's a lot of opportunities to help bridge that divide, bring us to other chains, and doing that in a very secure and compliant and efficient way. And so we're really excited about where this partnership that we announced today can take the business in the years ahead.
No question about it. It's a multi-chain world after all, and we need that because we want as many chains around the world that have utility, serve a real purpose, solve a real problem in the new financial digital on-chain economy. We want them all connected to the XRP ledger. Let's talk about the other side of the market, like the back end of the market. Listen to Jack.
I just want to double tap on something Robinson talked about, because it's a big use case for us when we think about capital markets and financial institutions. So there is some specialization that happens depending upon who the end client or the user groups are. And so specifically within capital markets, the work that these guys are doing with the Blackrocks, the VanEck of the world, those are some of the same clients that we are targeting, the same sort of use cases that institutions are looking for: heavily regulated, well-funded, transparent, in our case, stablecoin issuers, but also really judged by the company you keep. So who are the custodians you use? Who are the auditors you use? Who are the bridging partners or the interoperable partners? And is there a specialization in that offering that really speaks to the needs of those particular users? And, saying nothing against meme coins, that's a different audience than a tokenized money market fund like a Biddle or a Benji, and how stable coins would interact with those products. While at one level, they're similar, there are different requirements that the end users are going to have. And so finding infrastructure that can support those use cases is really important.
There you have it. Love hearing the Blackrocks and the VanEck of the world. Yeah, those are some of the same clients that we're targeting. Yeah, love that. And it makes sense to me because that Ripple's already on the Faster Payments Council, and that's going live this month with ISO20022. Now, I'm not suggesting that the price is going to break out this month, although I would be happy if it did. I'm just saying that you could see everything coming together to position this new innovation, and all of the things that have been built over the last decade plus are about to be turned on and implemented. And that is because we are also in the fast track to getting all of the crypto legislation signed and becoming law. That is the moment. I'm telling you, the United States of America becoming crypto legislation becoming law, everything being done is the catalyst for this space. No mistake about it. And then here's Pat Thielen talking from the chair of the U.S. Federal Faster Payments Council and about how it's time to get the Internet of Value going. I don't need to play it for you. You know who it is. It's Pat Thielen from Ripple. He's on the Faster Payments Council. The Faster Payments Council is put together by the Federal Reserve, the same Federal Reserve that they just applied for a national banking charter through the OCC for. That same Federal Reserve, the same Federal Reserve that's about to hold the reserves for the real USD, which also tells me that the XRP ledger is connected to the Federal Reserve. This is done. Yeah. Not only do I see it as a new national payment layer for the United States of America, I actually see it as a new national payment layer for the world. That is what the XRP ledger is. And what do you think the demand will look like when things become law, legislation becomes law, all of that's over, that conversation is finished, and boy, I can't wait for that. But what do you think it looks like when you find out that the Federal Reserve is actually working and using the XRP ledger? Imagine that. When that's an open conversation, and then we find out all the other central banks of the world that have been working with Ripple that are using the XRP ledger too. You know, at some point, all of this will not be a secret anymore. It won't be something we have to guess at. They will be touting it. And you have to think about the reverse point to that. The reverse point to that, and the bonus side of that, is that it will validate the XRP ledger to the rest of the known world. And if the Fed's using it, then I'm obviously going to be on that network too. That's what is about to take place here, I believe, when we see all these NDAs burn off and we really find out the depth of where we're going. Just like obviously being able to get a banking charter for Ripple so they can hold their real USD reserves with the Fed directly. Look, I see the Fed as Fed 1.0. It handles all the paper printing dollars and the reserves there for them, right? Well, what is Ripple? Ripple to me, especially now applying for a banking license, which we've been laughed at for years about, but the truth is they're doing it. And they're not doing it so they can become a Bank of America. They're doing it so they can become their own version of a Fed, a lender of last resort, like a central bank. But because I believe they're on an international plane instead of just a national plane, I see them as like a IMF, World Bank, or BIS, I guess, maybe even if you wanted to. But certainly a Fed 2.0, just for the analogy, because they're going to be issuing digital US dollars known as the real USD, directly connected to the Fed, which is the Fed 1.0, which in my house would make this the Fed 2.0. Paper dollars, the Fed. Digital dollars, Ripple. 1.0, 2.0. Feel me? That's where I think this is going. And you know what? Egg Rag Crypto, looking at the charts here, he says, do you comprehend? The macro formation has broken out and a potential macro retest is still on the table. The measured target is bellissimo, which in Italian means very beautiful or gorgeous. So even though we're sitting outside of this flag here in this breakout, we could retrace back to the top of this breakout, which would scare a lot of people. That could go all the way down to a dollar something. Bring it. I will load up the truck. Doot, doot, doot. I sure will. I'll do what I can anyway. But nonetheless, if this happens and unfolds the way he's seeing it on the chart, it could come back and retest, scare a lot of people. I fill my bags again, and then boom. And then we're off to the races. And maybe we get those crazy, crazy explosions that are being seen on the charts that kind of mirror 2017 and back in 2021. We'll see. We have to wait and see. And isn't that the exciting part? One thing I do know, I don't know where it goes, but I know we're getting closer to finding out. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Wishing all of you a very happy and safe 4th of July with you and your friends and family. I'll catch all of you on the next one.